So how do you price your offer? This is probably one of the things that we all want to figure out like right now and get it right because it's kind of tricky. Do you price high? Do you price low? What is it that you have to do? So I wanted to share this kind of little masterclass with you, teaching you all the things like this general overview of what you need to know in terms of pricing your offer, what price to choose for yourself, how to do it, and what are the different options that you have. So this is going to be super, super fun. Let's talk about how to price your offer. And like I was just saying, there are different things to take into account, different things for you to know and understand. And we're going to overview all the different options that you have available for you. Specifically, obviously, if you have a service-based business, you're a consultant, you're a coach, you're a service provider, this is 100% for you. All right. So let's go on with option number one. Option number one is hourly rates or based on sessions. So basically, just as the name says, you can charge at an hourly rate where your client pays you by the hour, or it could be by the session. And, hourly rates have a long history. A lot of people have them using them. And I believe that traditionally, it's usually what a lot of people tend to do. And it can be quite easy for you to calculate how much you want to charge hourly, because you could sit down and you could say, okay, what are all my costs? What are all the investments? What are all the things that I need to take into account? And then you get out a calculator and you define how many hours it's going to take you to be able to pay those things, right? But the problem with pricing by hourly rate or by session is that a lot of times we tend to underestimate your expenses or overestimate your available time. So the truth is that when you dial it in realistically, the hourly wage that you need to make ends up being something quite high. And, I believe that this is a valid option, hourly rates or sessions or charging by sessions. It's a valid option sometimes, but I don't really recommend doing it because it trains your client or it trains your audience to believe that the value of your coaching lies in the time that you put in with them, right? When the truth is that, that's not where the real value of working with you lies. As a coach, the value that you provide is in the result that you're able to get your clients or to help your clients. And that is really more valuable than the hours that you put in to get them help or get them to get that result, right? So basically what this means is that when you charge by hourly rates or when you charge by session, you become a commodity, right? So basically what that means is that you're easily interchangeable with anybody else because, you're not doing anything that's too different or anything that nobody else could offer you at the same time. So, sorry, just checking over here. Right. So basically, I don't really recommend doing an hourly rate unless there are specific cases when that could be something that you do. But this is one of the options that you have. Option number two is pricing by retainer. And this is a retainer fee where your client pays you a set amount each and every month. And of course, you'd have to agree beforehand what that support entitles every single month. And you could offer a certain number of calls or an unlimited number of calls or a specific type of support. And this is going to depend on the business that you have. So for example, if you're offering an ongoing service, like if you're a graphic designer or if you're doing SEO, or if you're doing social media management, this is a very typical thing that people do where they have pricing by retainer. Now, the bad side of charging by retainer is that you have to be really, really good at setting boundaries, right? So what tends to happen a lot when you charge by retainer is that people tend to look at you like their employee and, they're messaging you all the time and they're not really taking into account a lot of who you are unless you're really, really great at setting boundaries. So you have to be very clear on exactly what this includes and stay within your contract. Make sure that you have a good contract and stay within that contract so that people don't take advantage of you in the process. Because what tends to happen when you're doing a retainer is that you end up doing much more than what you want to be doing or that you agree to be doing. So you have to be very careful around that. And then option number 3 is through packages, which obviously, as you can imagine, is my favorite option because it allows you to position yourself as an authority and allows you to position yourself or your pricing based on the result that you're going to help your clients get through working with you, right? So for example, a coaching or a package would be 3-month program with 12 calls, or I don't know, like a 6-month program or a 12-month program, or something specific, but there is an actual package, right? So really it shifts the conversation from what you're worth or the value of your time to the result. You're now focusing on your client and the result that you're helping them achieve and the value of that result and what that value is for them. So it is a way more powerful conversation, and it ends up being a really win-win situation for absolutely everybody. And when we're focusing on selling packages, there's really 2 ways at looking at it. One of them is focused on result, right? So the results or a focused package is about delivering a specific result in a specified amount of time. So what that means is that each session is highly organized and planned out to ensure that your clients reaches the goal. So basically, an example of this is me with the way that I work with my one-on-one clients. We focus on building a result. We focus on getting clear on what their offer is, on what their message is. I build a website. We build the marketing strategy for them. So we build out all of these little pieces together so that by the end of the time that we work together, they have a result. They have a business in place, right? And the pro of this is that you typically sell at a higher price point, and you can eventually obviously scale that into a course or a program. And the con of this is that what happens is that if you actually do this right, each client will only need to buy this package once. So that is kind of a little bit of a negative thing, because what happens then is that you don't have like this lifetime value of the client. It only is going to be reduced to that one thing that you're doing with them. It's kind of a little bit different. Whereas if you could offer them something ongoing, you could always sell them something else, right? So that is the negative part of focusing on one result. Now, the other way of looking at a package is through ongoing results. And this package structured is basically, it's based a little bit more on time, right? So it's not an hourly rate, because people have to buy multiple packages or multiple sessions at once, right? So this might be a monthly rate or a 3-month or a 6-month package. Christine was just saying that she sells a 6-month package versus selling single coaching sessions. And the purpose of this is basically to give people ongoing support, accountability, and being there for your clients. And you could do like a membership group or something that falls into that category, right? So that is the great thing about offering a package that's focused on ongoing results. The pros or the positive side of this is that you can generate a more consistent income. Now, obviously, even with results-oriented package, you could still do that, but with payment plans. But in this case, it's because you're offering something month to month to month, and it's ongoing. It allows you to generate more consistent income. You have a deeper relationship with your client, and it can require a lot less preparation before each session, because you don't have to have all these things prepared beforehand. You can go on the fly a little bit more. And the bad side of this is that it can be a little bit harder to sell, because you're not selling an end goal, but you're just delivering ongoing support, right? So that allow people to receive or achieve a lot of little goals along the way. So if you're not seen as an authority, or if you're just starting out, or if you don't have a relationship with the client, it can be a little bit harder to share, or a little bit harder for you to be able to communicate your value. All right. So these are kind of within packages, the 2 options that you have. You have results oriented or ongoing results. And when I work with my clients and when I work with my students, what we try to do is we look at what the different options are. And in terms of, how to actually build out the packages. And there's people who are more into doing structured things, where they have, going back to this focus on one result. We focus on, when we build together their packages, their offers, their framework, they usually are focused on one result. However, I do work with a lot of people. So for example, I'm working right now with a sports coach he works with soccer players, and what he does is ongoing results, right? So there's a lot of stuff, like there's a base and it changes over time, but there's a lot of ongoing results going on as well. So what can you do is the question. And it really is going to depend on what your business looks like right now. If you have, if you're somebody who likes having a system created that, teaches people and it is very structured, the focused result path is going to work best for you, right? So in my case, for example, the way that I have structured my business is always a result oriented, or right, for like focus on one result type of business or type of package, right? I do have an option. I'll show you in a moment because I want to show you exactly what this looks like and how this works. But I do have an option where there is an ongoing support as well. And you can do something like that. Now, if you enjoy being there accountable for people, getting to know their business or getting to know what's going on with them or whatever, then the ongoing support is going to be best for you. Now, obviously, you can still offer both, right? And there's a lot of ways that you could structure it. Maybe you can take on clients via their results focused package. And then when they're done, you offer them ongoing support. Or you could offer ongoing support as your main offer. And then a few times a year, you launch a coaching program or a course that is focused on a specific topic. Or, there's a lot of different ways to do things, but it really is going to depend on what you like best. And some things to think about in terms of package pricing is that it really allows you to charge more because you're doing a flat fee. And you don't have to calculate hours. You don't have to send monthly invoices or something like that. You can have payment plans, of course. I have payment plans as well, but they're set, they're established. You could set them up in Square or in Stripe, and that's it. And you don't have to be kind of running after people like, oh, renew your package or anything like that. When you look at most of the people in the industry right now, especially specifically in the coaching industry, obviously it's going to depend on each person, but probably in your industry too, whatever industry you're in right now, they tend to charge a lot more, and they tend to do it through this type of strategy where they have a package so that people can work with them. Another positive thing about this is that you don't have to create a custom proposal. One thing that I do, and actually, let me see if I can show this to you guys. One thing that I do is that I have everything created in a software called Proposify. So let me show you guys this. You guys are gonna like this. Okay, so basically what I do is that I have a template created. Here it is. I have a template created with all of information and all the different things of like how to work with me. There's a timeline. There's all of these different things in there, and it's done. I don't have to create a new one every single time a new client comes in. It's already created. It's already done. Obviously, there's changes in there. There's little details that are changed, but I don't have to do custom proposals or custom presentations or anything like that. Another great part of this is that people are sometimes scared to work with coaches or work with people because they feel like they have no clue what they're getting into. When you have an established process, when you have a package, it can be a lot easier for you to tell people, okay, this is what's included, which means that you could improve your efficiency, that you could create a better systems, processes, and all of that great stuff. Which, for example, in my case, and I've shown you guys this before, what I do is that I have a client section, and in my client section, oh, I need to sign in. I have all these things that I have already created, training videos and all of these different things, and this is what allows my client what allows my clients to get better results. But then basically, wait, let me just show you guys. I don't have to recreate all these things because I have a structure, I have a system created. It's all already in here, right? And then in my case, every single one of my clients has their own private client page in here with their logos, with their fonts, with all of the stuff that they need, right? So Christine, you're asking, the software that I use, is called Proposify. This is the software that I use, Proposify, that company for proposals. Okay, so basically you could create systems and you could get better at making those systems repeatable and simple. So those are some of the things that you want to consider or take into account in terms of your building packages. So let's talk about the actual pricing strategy and what are the different things or the different directions in which you can take throughout this. And the first type of strategy is what's called a penetration pricing. And it's called this because the idea is basically to penetrate the market by offering the lowest coaching fee that you're comfortable working for. Now, basically penetration pricing is all about like helping you get as much market share as possible at a low price to get more people to buy, right? So a lot of people do this Especially a lot of new coaches or people who are just starting out like to do this, because if you're not comfortable yet with charging something higher, or you don't have the confidence or whatever, well, then it makes it a little bit easier for you to be able to just charge a low price and then slowly increase your price as you move on. Now, some of the advantage of this is that you could get a lot of clients from it, and it allows you to scale it a lot easier. Now, the negative part of this is that people often permanently are going to expect low prices from you. So you're not doing a great job at positioning yourself as an expert, which means that you're getting a very, very low customer loyalty. And my experience is that this pricing strategy is always a race to the bottom, because there's always going to be somebody out there that's charging a lot less. So I personally do not recommend using penetration pricing unless you don't have confidence in your offer and you don't know your message and all these different things. If you are unclear about your message, well, then this is a great strategy to start. But that's not the ideal thing, right? Then the next type of strategy, pricing strategy, is a goal-oriented strategy, where you think about what your goal is, what your income goal is for the month, and think about what is the price that you need to charge in order for you to reach that goal. So let's say that you want to make $10,000 a month. You want to think about what feels realistic for you in terms of how many clients you need to make in order to hit that goal. So if your goal is $10,000 a month, maybe you need 3 clients a month or 2 clients a month, and then you could say, okay, my price is going to be $5,000. And obviously you're going to build value around that. Now, obviously when I work with my clients, we make sure that they're able to charge $5,000, even $10,000 for their services, because what we do together is make sure that they have a real great framework that is powerful and that gets people results. That is fundamental. You can't just charge $5,000 or $10,000 if there's no real value behind what you're selling, obviously, right? But it's still a way to look at it. And I mean, you want to have these things in place for you to be able to charge what you're worth essentially. But this is one of those strategies or one ways to look at it. And then the other way to look at it is by charging what I call authority pricing, where you already feel confident, you have a great brand message. And I talked about this when I talked about the formula for success in another training video that I did earlier this week. So when you have your mindset and confidence on point, when you have a clear brand message that you know what you're standing for, you're great at positioning yourself, you have confidence in your offer, you have a powerful offer, you understand your audience, and you have a great marketing strategy, it really allows you to charge what I call authority pricing, where you're establishing that pricing according to what you feel is correct for you. And I guess this is true for all of them in a way, right? But authority pricing is about charging premium pricing for your offer because you are seen as an authority. And once you start getting a few clients in your business, you can start charging more and increasing your prices more and more and more. So some other things to consider in terms of pricing is that people are going to hire you because they believe that you can do something for them. So you want to focus your marketing and everything that you do on client results, not on, how many followers you have or how many clients you've had or anything like that, but on the results that you can help people achieve. So you want to price according to those results and to the difficulty, and understand that people are also paying you for your expertise as well. So all of those are things that are important. And basically the way that it works is that as your level of support is higher and the level of access that people have with you to you, your pricing needs to be higher. Let me know if this is making sense so far, by the way, in the comments. I want to know that you guys are getting it. So as your support is higher, your level of your pricing is going to be higher. And I'll give you an example with the way that I work so that you could kind of get a little bit of a clear vision of how this process looks like. So as you guys know, if you've been around for a while, you might have seen me or heard me talk about this. My framework is what I call the brand strategy pyramid. Brand strategy pyramid focuses on building your brand foundation, your signature offer, your marketing strategy, visibility plan, and your visual brand. This is what my framework looks like. But there are variations of this framework as I work with people in different levels. And I'll show you what those look like and what basically how they work. So the highest level of work with me is what I call a brand that attracts, which is my one-on-one service, which mixes a done-for-you service and coaching at the same time. And it's about 4 months long. And actually, I have this page where I can show you a little bit just so that you have an idea of how this works and what it includes. So basically, this is a brand that attracts, and it includes 8 calls with me, in-depth trainings, private personal section with all of our call recordings, weekly live Q&A, 24/7 access to our private community, lifetime access to updates. We get the brand foundation. They get a 30 to 40 page custom-made brand book. They get website copywriting. They get mindset. They get mindset lessons. They get signature offer. They get a bonus training on how to maximize financial wins and generate more income. They get the whole marketing strategy with their complete funnel created and scripts and bonus trainings. They get a visibility strategy, copywriting masterclass. They get a complete Facebook ads mini course. They get everything in their visual brand, like the logo, fonts, color palette, collateral elements, the brand board, all these templates. They get their whole website. They get a tech training section. So all of these are the things that they get when people work with me one-on-one. Essentially, it's all of this, right? Everything in here, this is what people get when they work with me one-on-one. Obviously, this is the highest level of working with me in terms of pricing. Then we move down, and the next thing is the Breakthrough Brand Mentorship. And the Breakthrough Brand Mentorship is a program I'm just launching recently. And it's basically a 6-month program where they're getting a deep dive into all of these things, except I am not doing it for them. So I'm not actually designing their website, but I am teaching them how to, everything that they need to know about their logos and their colors and everything else. So I'm teaching them how to do all of these things on their own. And it is a weekly Q&A, live group Q&A for 6 months, and they get access to the community too. So this is the next level pricing. Then I have the Breakthrough Brand course, which is a 6-week group program, which has weekly Q&As, and there's also access to a community. So this is just 6 weeks long, and basically they're getting access to all of this. All of the things are in the actual pyramid. So they don't get access to the stuff that's in the brand, but I'm giving them a very, very complete training on how to define your foundation, your offer, your marketing strategy, and visibility plan. That is the next level of pricing. And the lowest one, which is something that I don't actually sell anymore, but it was a course that I did a long time ago. It's a course called A Brand That Sells, and it was 5 modules self-study course. So just to give you a little bit of a perspective of how pricing works, but all of these things are packages, right? You can't buy a brand that sells and only buy module 1. You can't buy a breakthrough brand and say, okay, I'm doing it one way or another. Like, this is the way that these things work. So just giving you a little bit of perspective around that. And the last part that I wanted to share with you, and I'll actually stop sharing screen for a minute, is a little bit of my own pricing story. And, for me, what happened was it was a process in my particular case. And I know that it tends to be like this with a lot of people. When I started, I was very unclear around my message. I was unclear about who I was. I did not have the confidence. So it meant that I started charging a very low price, but then started kind of evolving. I jumped from $500 to $5,000 for my one-on-one package. And then from there, I jumped up really quickly as well. And it just was a big process of me uncovering what was best for me, but also understanding how could I make my packages even better? How could I make my packages even more powerful? And how could I make people get better results? So as I evolved, my packages have evolved, and everything that I do has evolved, because obviously my business and the types of results that my clients get have changed as well. So those are some of the things that I want you to consider as well when you're thinking about defining pricing. I believe that the core of pricing really comes down to your level of confidence. If you believe that what you're doing is worth $5,000, do not charge $4,995. It has to be $5,000. Because what happens is that you're undervaluing yourself. And if you undervalue yourself, people are going to undervalue you as well. If you believe that what you should be charging is $5,000, do not charge $20,000, because you're never going to get a sale behind that. Because if you are not behind it, people are not going to be behind it either. So it has to be a number that feels right to you. And what you want to do is really sit down and look at your offers, or look at your options and think about, okay, what is it that I feel is the best option for me and what feels right? A lot of times people are scared or nervous about charging premium pricing. And I think that it really has to do with you making sure that you have clarity around your message and clarity around who you are and all these different things. I've talked about this multiple times before, right? So for example, I'll give you an example from an email that I got last night. I'll show you guys the email because it's a really cool email. So last night, I think it was last night, I got an email from one of my clients saying, Fabi, you have to stop saying online that you helped me book my first premium client. It's 2-3K clients now. So in Keisha, in her particular case, and if you haven't seen Keisha's video talking about the process and how she got there, you definitely need to check it out. But in Keisha's case, she is a dating coach for Christian women, and she was charging about $200 for her services. When we worked together, we looked at everything and we changed her level of confidence. We changed her packages. We changed the way that she was doing everything. And now she's been able to already sign $2,000-$3,000 clients. So it really is important that you have to pick a price that excites you, that scares you, like Christine is saying, but also you have to pick a price that reflects your value. And sometimes that value comes from the way that you're communicating, your confidence, and the way that your brand looks sometimes as well. Your marketing has to be good and on point and authority-based for you to get the results that you truly, truly want. So these are some of the things that you have to consider, or you should be considering in terms of pricing. And if you are looking for help because you want to be the type of person that charges premium pricing for your offer and you don't know or don't have a clue of exactly how to do it, make sure you go to fabipaolini.com/call, and I'll leave the link in the comments below so that you can check it out and book a call with me and my team, and we'll tell you exactly what you, not anybody else, but what you need to do in order for you to be able to charge premium pricing for your services, even if you're just starting out. With that example that I showed you with Keisha, she had been charging $200, but she really just started out this business a few months ago. So she was just starting out and she's already been able to sign $2,000-$3,000 clients. This is something that is normal and typical when you know what you're doing. It's something that's normal and typical when you have confidence in your offer, when you know that you can get people results. But sometimes if you're just starting out, and even if you aren't starting out, this happens. Sometimes when you're just starting out, you have a hard time having confidence in that you're going to get people results because you don't have a big list of clients who have had results. So how can you get behind charging this price if you still don't feel confident around your results? So what we do together is I help you build that confidence by making sure that you're building an offer that is truly, truly, truly like foolproof, rock solid, and will get people results, period. And I'll teach you how to do all of that. So make sure that you go to fabipaolini.com/call to book a call with me and my team, and we'll help you charge premium pricing. Anyways, hopefully this was helpful for you and it gives you clarity on what it is that you need to do in order to charge premium pricing. Let me know in the comments below what type of price you do right now, and if you're happy with it, if you do an hourly rate, you do it by retainer, you do a package, what type of packages you're offering right now. So I'm more than happy to look at what's going on with you.